Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Melissa and I'm here today to share with you the follow-up video from my new series, which is One Palette, One Month. The first palette I chose was the It Naturally Pretty palette, and putting a palette on your desk and making that the one that your A palette wasn't the only palette I used, but I would say I used it 90% of the time. It is very very freeing to just not have to make that decision and just say, okay, this is what I'm going with. What look am I going with today? So one of the things I really love about this palette is it is a great work palette. There's so many wonderful shades in here that are so work appropriate and can stand on their own as a one and done with maybe a little highlighter shade, maybe a little bit of liner shade, that don't require a lot of blending, a lot of different colors, and some mornings that is such a blessing. And I would say that probably these three colors here are the ones I dipped my brush in to the most. I think these were the ones that I just really gravitated towards the most and really loved using these for work. Just all over my lid. Pretty simple. I also challenged myself to pull off a couple of darker smoky looks with this palette, and I did do a couple of darker looks. I did one today for you, which is more purpley undertone. The other thing that I found I used pretty much throughout was this Transforming Pearl. I use this mostly as a brow bone highlight. I don't care for it over the shadows at all. I think it makes them look muddy, but it is a nice little brow bone highlight shade, and I think because everything is so matte and this has just a tiny bit of pearlescence to it, I think it helps brighten the eye up a little bit. It's not something you would have to do. Certainly either one of these two, this one up top is a great brow bone highlight, but I tended to use this the most. And then the other colors that I really loved were some of these darker colors, to use them as almost liner or just to deepen out the outer corner of my eye. These were great for that and loved using those. So I think one of my favorite looks from this month was a very simple look, but it was, what I liked about it was super long wearing. And during the winter when it's so cold and my eyes tend to water in the cold, I really liked being able to add this long wearing component to this look, and it was just a super nice natural look that I could put any color lipstick with. And what I did for that was I pulled out this little cream eyeshadow from Bobbi Brown in the color Suede. And this is a long wearing cream eyeshadow, but any kind of nude base like this would work. And I topped it with the color Warmth here. Those two paired together did such a beautiful job. And then I would use a little bit of liquid liner. I'm not a huge liner girl, but just kind of what I call for myself a little modified kitten flick, cat eyeliner look, and use this and tight line, and then it's such a nice nude neutral look that you can put a bright lip with it, you can put a nude lip with it. It really was a big savior when I went up to New York for that weekend trip, and we were waiting outside and it was super cold. This is what I wore because I knew it would last all day. We were going to be gone most of the day. I knew it was going to be super cold and my eyes would be watering, so I loved that. And then I could punch it up with a little bright color on my lips, which I kind of went with a reddish color on my lips just to kind of punch it up a little bit. So for today's look, I started off by using this color Love on all over my lids and bringing a little bit of this soft light up into the crease and just kind of helping to create the first layer of a crease look. And then I went over into violet, deepened the crease with violet, and further deepened that whole outer corner with the color, I think I used Midnight. Went into Midnight and did that. I have this up here on my brow bone and created kind of a little bit of a soft pink, violet-y, undertoned smoky eye. Really like the way that came out. I did a couple smoky eye looks with this palette this month, and I'll include them in this little lookbook series. I tried to take as many pictures of different looks as I could. Sometimes the lighting was not so great, and it's something I need to figure out how to do a little bit better for the next series that I do. So one of the other things that I wanted to talk about were some cheek and lip pairings that I tended to use with this palette this month, and maybe they would serve as an inspiration to you for some pairings when you're digging into this palette. So one of the first things there were two cheek kind of looks that I went to the most, and the first one is this Shimmer Shape and Glow palette from Mally, which I picked up during the month. This blush color is I just really love it. It's just right. I don't know how else to say it. It's just right. It's not too bright, it's not too neutral, and I like that you have these right here that you can dip into, particularly the shimmery part, just to give you a nice little glow without being too glowy. Great for every day, great for work. Just super. Really have been enjoying this palette quite a bit. And then the other two shades come from the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Blush palette, which, oh my gosh, I don't know what I did before I got this palette. These blushes are amazing. So the colors I used were these two outer corner ones, Mood Exposure and Luminous Flush. Both of these really worked beautifully with this palette, I think. Alright, so now let's get into a little lip situation. So I went through and just kind of pulled out what I found myself reaching for the most. Today I'm wearing, just so you know for your reference, I am wearing this Mally Cheek product on my cheeks, and I'm using the NYX Butter Lipstick in Pops, a really pretty nude, pinky nude. So this is a great one. And I found myself tending to go a little bit more with nudes for some reason. So I also found myself reaching for my two Estée Lauder Pure Color Envy lipsticks, and the two colors that I really liked using the best were Intense Nude and Desirable. So here is Intense Nude and Desirable. And sometimes I would mix these two together. Yeah, I like mixing those two together. Sometimes this is just a tiny bit too pale for me, so I like mixing those together. Another nude look that I loved was from Bite Beauty, and this is their, I forget what these are called. I'll leave it down below, but the color is Glace. Ooh. I think I said in one of my other videos I'm having a love affair with this. I am having totally head over heels in love with this. So those were some of the nudes that I used, but I also used just a really nice pop of red in this Sonia Kashuk, which is like the, it's like a tinted balm. That's what I wore up in New York. I like it because it was, you know, it was really moisturizing for that trip, and just did a nice color, a little pop of kind of red. I also used this Rich Raisin from Neutrogena, one of their chubby sticks. And maybe I'll go to this hand. I also pulled out this lip color from Sonia Kashuk in Sheer Plum. This was a great work color. I wore that a lot. As you can see, I kind of bumped the end off of it. But just, this is such a great one. So to wrap up, I really feel like this is a very versatile palette, really great for the career woman who wants to have some easy go-to looks and just soft and pretty. But because the colors are a little bit softer and prettier, I felt like the cheek colors needed to be a little bit softer and the lip colors need to be a little bit softer, maybe bordering on a little bit of a nude, maybe your lips a tiny bit more intensified, but those were the shades that I liked the best with this palette. So when I kicked off this series, I put up there all of my current palettes that are still available online or in stores and asked which ones would you be most interested in seeing me use in future videos. And by far the number one, which I have to tell you was such a shocker for me because I almost didn't put it in because I thought, really? This palette is kind of been around for a while. And you know, I don't know. I almost didn't put it in. I'm not really sure why I didn't put it in, but I almost passed on it. But by far, this is the one that people were most interested in seeing in a follow-up video, and that is from Tarte, the Rainforest After Dark palette, which is such a pretty palette, and this is one of my favorite full-face palette formats, the ones from Tarte. I just love them, and I'm excited to put this one to use. I think probably we're heading into March. This is going to be the edge of winter where I think this will still be appropriate to use, and then we'll need to get into some more summertime colors, but just such a great palette, so I'm excited to explore this one a little bit more. So before I let you go, I do want to tell you, in looking at my palette, the two shades that I probably used the least are down here. These are Sunrise and Sunset. I don't even think Sunset, you can still see the IT logo in the pan. These are just not colors that I gravitate towards, and they're just a little too warm for me. I just don't care for them that much. There's nothing wrong with them. They're just not colors that speak to me. So, you know, it's just eyeshadow, people. Wear what you like. Don't, you know, there are no rules. Just wear what you like. But it was fun to look at this and see colors that I really know that I dived into the most, which was Warmth and Soulful, were probably these two were the ones that I probably went into the most and have the biggest divots in it, so it was fun to actually use them enough to create some divots in them. You know, that's kind of fun and exciting for me. Strange, huh? So in case you're wondering, on my face today I am wearing the new Tarte Found Sealer foundation. I've been like foundation crazy. I probably have like 4 or 5 new foundations. I'm not sure why I'm doing that, but I am. Maybe it's because so many are coming out with such great new formulas and I'm excited to try them. So I did get this as part of this lovely little kit on QVC. Oh yeah. This is really beautiful. So I did play with that a little bit. I will probably continue to play with that a little bit this month, mixed in with this, of course. But really, what? Why do they do that? Just print the damn names on the palette. So if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to my channel and you were just stopping by for the first time, I would love it if you'd hit the subscribe button and join me for future videos. I do have an anniversary, a YouTube anniversary coming up, and I am planning a giveaway, so subscribe now. subscribe now so you don't miss out on that. So I will be posting the giveaway prize and that probably next week. I just didn't quite get to it this week, so I have it all ready and I'm excited to share it with you. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you real soon in my next video. Take care.